All right, thank you for reminding me there's no sound. We'll start over here. Welcome to Soundbooth Theater Live Cold Reads. I'm Jeff Hayes. This is Monster Hunt NYC 3. And this is the very last cold read I'll be doing. If you want to continue listening/watching me narrate the rest of this book, I'll be doing that in Discord in the coming few days. Let's see. Thursday, Friday, Monday, possibly Tuesday. But yeah, for any of you who weren't here for the first two, you remember you can watch the screen. I'll be sharing my screen and you'll see me working in Ableton, and I'm actually taking notes for Ahmed to look at so that he can fill out all the sound effects while I narrate. So you'll see that process a little bit. And also next Tuesday is when the cold reads are actually going to hit the platform. So watch out for that. Make sure to check the description of this video to find all the links you need. There's a link to book 1 that goes to our website, where you can buy book 1 for just $7.99. Book 2 is currently only on Audible, but that will be coming down from, or that will be going non-exclusive on Audible, and it will be going to our website. Again, it was available on our website at first when we first released it. Yeah, that will be available for $7.99 as well, I believe. And then book 3 will be basically book 2 is going to be available on our platform when we release book 3. So you'll be able to get the whole trilogy on our platform at once if you want to. But book 1's available there now. Book 2 is available on Audible. You can get both of those if you can't wait. The Kindle version of book 3 is still available on Amazon, so the link to that's in the description. And next Tuesday is when we're releasing the cold reads. So yeah, watch out for all of that. All right, so here's my screen share. Let's do this. All right, we are 20% into book 3. And yeah, taking the notes while I'm narrating takes up quite a bit of extra time. In the last 2 cold reads were about 2 hours each, and I got through about 40 minutes of audio each time. Usually my ratio is something like 2 to 1, so it brings it to more like 3 to 1. Well, 2 to 1 if I'm, being very meticulous, and I'm not like on a roll. If you guys remember, while I was doing Chrysalis, it was close to 1-to-1. I mean, maybe 1.25 to 1. I was just steamrolling through that. It just really depends on the book and, how easy it is for me to get through it. How I get along with the rhythm and everything. So the end of chapter 2, the duo and Dalton the Ink Shadow were playing a gig in Kingdom Ignis in some bar. Kingdom Ignis has a bunch of like goblins and ogres and stuff, and so it was a rowdy crowd, and somehow they ended up jumping on the stage and starting a fight with the band, and so the band killed a bunch of dudes and left. And yeah, it was just a fun time for everybody. So here goes. Chapter 3. On Top of the World. We logged out, laughing. It had been quite a night in Everlife. After getting kicked out of the club, we found a hotel in the center of Kingdom Sauna, a place that looked kind of... After getting kicked out of the club, we found a hotel in the center of Kingdom Sauna, a place that kind of looked like a sandcastle. It even had textured turrets, which was where the Huntresses and the 3 Mythcria with us. I think maybe it was Kingdom Sauna and not Kingdom Ignis? It even had textured turrets, which was where the Huntresses and the 3 Mythcria with us ended up staying. And let's go ahead and start it off with the actual laughter. We logged out. Oh, man. I have this wheezy texture to my laugh now. I need to try and laugh without it. We logged out, laughing. We logged out, laughing. It had been quite a night. There we go. Got it out of my system. While I offered each of them their own room, Lady C chose to share her space with Spew Gorge, and I said she would share with Altsoba. Dalton got his own suite, which he gladly retired to alongside 2 orc chippies, as Spew Gorge called them. I had no idea how an ink shadow would have sex with a female orc, but we didn't stick around to find out. We did, however, hit up the hotel bar, which was why Iris and I were laughing now. And making notes for Annie. Even though we hadn't drunk anything in the real world, in our world, both of us still felt a buzz. That was the strange thing about the Proxima Galaxy. Situations that happened there, however fake, could leave a person reeling once they returned to their natural home. How was this my natural home? Even laughing, I had to look around, Iris and I in such a beautiful hotel room, midtown all around us. Even laughing, I had to look around, Iris and I in such a beautiful hotel room, midtown all around us, apartment buildings 20, 30, 40 stories tall, each of the units well out of my price range, even if I had hit it rich. Cash ruled everything around me. With money, I was starting to understand this more, even if I hadn't been 24 hours. With money, I was starting to understand this more, even if it hadn't been 24 hours since I got lucky. Lucky. Damn, Iris said as she took in the view. Damn, damn, damn. She carefully got out of her bed and made her way to the window. She sat before it, legs crossed, looking out as a police arrows blazed by, as people moved in the streets below, as Uber lifts. Legs crossed, looking out as a police arrow. Looking out as a police arrow. Legs crossed. She sat before it, legs crossed, looking out as a police arrows blazed by, as people moved in the streets below, as Uber lifts landed and took off. What a fucking city. Crazy view, huh? A crazy view to finish a crazy day. I don't think I will ever have another day like today. I woke up broke and happy, and I'm going to sleep rich and happier. Money is really on your mind now, isn't it? I joined her in front of the window. Should it not be? Alright, here goes. So, actually I forgot. Let's go ahead and tell Ahmed what ambience we want. Fancy hotel room. For those of you who don't know, what I'm doing is I'm using MIDI tracks. I'm using MIDI clips. The reason I'm using MIDI is because I can just double click and it makes a clip. But then I just label the MIDI clip with what I want Ahmed to know about. So, right here, we're putting a sound effect. Not be? She considered this for a moment as she looked out at the city, the lights from the apartment buildings reflecting onto her glasses. I guess it is pretty jarring. I went from, $1,000 at the most to my name, maybe just a little bit more, to $15 million and ownership of a highly sought-after property in a digital world. This is some type of joke. Someone's going to pull the carpet out from beneath me. I keep waiting for that to happen. Possibly. But I'm sure you'll get used to it. And then you will never remember the times when you were broke. How could I forget those times? It happens. You know how... Man, I'm still a little bit wheezy, man. It sucks. No official date on Chrysalis yet. We will keep you posted. You know how... It happens. It happens. You know much about my family, do you? The Snouts? I hate my last name. Yes, the Snouts. My great-grandparents bought a bunch of property in Bridgeport, Connecticut back in the 2020s. It's all high-rises now, and it has brought quite a bit of money to my parents. Didn't you ever wonder how I lived alone in Brooklyn? I just thought you had student loans or something. No. And those don't exist anymore anyway. At least not in the way that they used to. I really try not to ask my parents for any money. And I never talk about this stuff. Which is why I haven't gotten any of my gear repaired. They would give it to me, I'm sure, but I'm just not the type to ask. Are you telling me we could have had all new gear this entire time and some corporate sponsors? Iris rolled her eyes. Please. All the money is locked up in real estate and investments. They live well, but I don't know. It's not what you would think. Maybe we should go to Connecticut sometime and you can see. It's sort of a facade. But it's there. Well, I can tell you it beats being broke. All I'm saying is, don't let it go to your head. You are a great guy. And this is quite a large sum just to be handed. I still have to pay taxes. Yeah, that's not great. No, it's not. But once I sell the property in Everlife, we should be set. And I mean we. I'm giving you half of that, whatever I sell it for. Chase, I don't really need Iris. I wouldn't have any of this if it wasn't for you. I keep telling you this, but it's like I can't get through to you. Let's see if you can sell it first. Have you ever been to Newport, Rhode Island? No, I've never even been to Providence. Well, I took Amtrak through it once, but I only saw the city from the window. Lots of brick. Back in the late 19th and early 20th century, the East Coast's richest families built huge estates in Newport. You should see some of the homes that they built there. They are like beyond mansions, easily bigger than the White House, at least some of them. But they probably don't have an underground bunker. They may? I never checked. Anyway, all that property is worth millions and millions of dollars, and it's all empty now. Just mansions that have now become museums because people don't want to live there. So you're saying that people don't want to own the steeple? I don't know, Chase. Proxima property is really hot right now, so some people may want to own it, but it really depends on the price. The point I'm making is, sometimes something is worth something, but regardless of what it is worth, no one wants to buy it. Seriously. I know. But you said yourself that Proxima property is hot. True. Maybe I'm overthinking this. You and I should take a trip up there. You would be amazed at some of these homes. I'm talking a long boulevard with these big houses that look out to the sea, long driveways, 3-4 stories, views from every room. It's like the Great Gatsby leveled up out there. And most of them are empty, aside from old money. I get what you're saying, and maybe we could take a trip one day. Hell, why not? We can do anything we want now. I'm sorry. I'll stop having that I'm sorry. I'll stop having that type of attitude sooner than later. Yeah. Maybe we will take a trip. We need to prepare for this tournament first. It is seriously 2 days from now, and we are representing our kingdom. Remember, we are both Lightning Knights. It's an honorary title. It's an honorary title, but a cool one. One that we should be proud of. I'm looking forward to the tournament, and not just for the titles we may get, or the titles we already have. It'll be fun. A way to distract ourselves. I just find it really hard to get competitive when I was originally being competitive for money, and now I have money. Does that make sense? It makes a lot of sense. But I really want you to participate, and I want you to start training with me tomorrow. Would you do that for me? Iris turned to me, and in that moment, I felt a spark between us. I would be honored to, even if my instinct... I said, even if my instinct was to push away from the tournament. I just don't know about competing. Be right back. Damn. Wheezing sucks. Even if my instinct was to push away from the tournament. I just don't know about competing. Sorry, guys. Come on, Chase. It'll be fun. Just think of the huntresses, how much fun they will have. They'll love it. What are your plans for tomorrow? She turned back to the window. Well, as I told you earlier, I want to see about cloning the trolls. I will also probably check out the steeple. Then I guess you and I will train and hit up Kingdom Ignis. Then I guess I will... I will also probably check out the steeple. Then I guess you and I will train and hit up Kingdom Ignis. Spew Gorge keeps talking about this uncle of his, so I suppose we will have to pay him a visit. The huntresses want to shop, but we should probably get out of Kingdom Sauna for a bit just in case there's any backlash from the club incident. And we have a concert tomorrow night. I have school too, but that won't take too long. And really, we need to look into turning the practice room into a recording studio. So we should check into that. The tech has always been your thing. Just get what we need, and we'll press some records. Just get what we need, and we'll press some records. Literally. Let's put out the first Dalton and the Alpha Duo. Literally. Let's put out the first Dalton and the Alpha Duo EP on vinyl. It's not like it matters. People will be able to play it there just by touching the vinyl. That would be so cool. Still not so stoked about that name, but he is sort of the front man. Sort of. He's light years better than Thad. He's pretty good, actually. Yeah, you know what Yeah, you know it and I know it. He's a pro. Well, just don't tell him that. Dalton is already giving out sage-like advice like he's auditioning to be a contender in what... Dalton is already giving out sage-like advice like he's auditioning to be a contender in whatever new age movement arises next. We don't want this stuff to go to his head. Oh, I wouldn't tell him. Trust me there. I made my way to the bathroom. It was a weird setup, and rather than opening like a normal door, the heavy industrial door slid to the left. Definitely a nice bathroom, though. As I warmed the water up to take a shower, I looked out over the city through the one-way glass. It would fog up eventually. But for the time being, I would get cleaned off while staring out at New York City. What a life. Definitely a nice bathroom, though. All right. Turn on shower. One, 2.5. Here he goes. Oops. Damn. Fuck you, wheezy shit. I activated the Monster Hunt app once Iris was asleep. Lady C's form took shape before me, the Matikan warrior now in a sleep shirt and a pair of panties. She crawled in the bed immediately, a smile on her face as she wrapped her legs around my body, bent forward, and kissed me. It's beautiful, isn't it? It's beautiful, isn't it?
I've never seen anything like it.
She said, but from what I had seen, she'd never actually looked around the room or at the views. She was only interested in me. Eventually, the Matikan fell asleep in my arms. The last thing I remember was the reflection of the moon on one of the glass buildings in the distance. What a view. What a life. I awoke before Iris the next morning, and after gently waking Lady C, I sent her back to Everlife. I have big plans for us today, I told Iris before she went, so get excited. I'll be at the dojo in a bit to check on things, and you can ride over there from the hotel in sauna if you want, or just whatever you'd like. But trust me, I have big plans.
What kind of plans?
I told Lady C before she went, so get excited. Just get excited, she whispered to me, even though Iris wouldn't hear her. Just get excited. And with that, I deactivated the app. I went to the sleek restroom and washed my face, running my hand through my black hair before I put my glasses on and returned to the bedroom, where I found Iris seated on her bed, her hair a mess. Do you have time for breakfast?
I should go home. I need to catch up on a few things before I head to class.
Understandable, but I'm pretty sure this hotel has a nice restaurant.
Fine, you've convinced me.
Iris rolled out of bed. She was in a shirt and a pair of panties. I glanced away at first, but she didn't seem too worried about walking in front of me, so I relaxed a bit as she passed. What was going to become of Iris and me? Not much had happened since we'd made out. Not much had happened since we'd made out a few days back, but I wasn't going to press her on anything. And as odd as it felt, at least conceptually, Lady C was on my mind at that moment. Lady C was on my mind at that moment. No matter how much I reminded myself that she wasn't real, she felt real to me. And who decided what was authentic or not, especially this close to the 22nd century? We would find out soon enough what it would be like to truly be with Lady C. Iris came out of the bathroom wearing a skirt and her normal leggings. She sat on my bed as she laced up her shoes, yawning again as she did so. We left the room, heading straight to the elevator, where we were greeted by 8-bit-styled circus music playing from the elevator speakers. All right, let's see here. You know what, guys? I'll be right back. I'm gonna see what else I can do about this fucking wheeze. I'm still like, my nose is still draining, which it definitely shouldn't be at this point. All right. We left the room, heading straight to the elevator, where we were greeted by 8-bit styled circus music playing from the elevator speakers. We would find out soon enough what it would be like to truly be with Lady C. We would find out soon enough what it would be like to truly be with... Alright, we will do a little finagling here. Go. The elevator speakers. It was entirely surreal. It was entirely surreal. Something almost Beatlesque. And Iris and I both jokingly rocked out to it as we took the elevator down to the restaurant, which was stocked with the finest French pastries available in Midtown. We dug in, sipping cappuccinos and orange juice made from blood oranges, sharing several crepes, a plate of sausage and gravy, and a ton of fresh-cut fries. Ugh, now that's what I call a meal, I said, as the check came. I drummed my fingers on my belly, Iris shaking her head with faux disdain.
You're going to get so fat as a rich guy?
No, I mostly ate fruit. You are the one that was slamming down those chocolate croissants.
I had half of one.
And I had 1.5, but who's counting? Don't worry, this will be my biggest meal of the day. Well, I suppose we could eat something later, too. We can always do something like that.
Some soup would be nice, especially if it's cold out.
Duly noted. I transferred the money to the restaurant over iNet. I also could have charged it to the room, but figured I would just pay the bill now. I left a good tip, too, even though the service wasn't that good, especially for a restaurant of this caliber. The food more than made up for the service.
So we'll meet later?
You'll know where to find me.
You're going to stay at the hotel again?
Just for another day or two. I know I'm splurging a bit. I just have never been in a place like this before. You understand, right?
Just don't let it go to your head.
She turned. Iris turned to the exit. You'll be the first to know. You'll be the first to know when it has gone to my head. And at that point, I'll need you to take me back to Brooklyn. Stuff me in my room and make sure I hit my head on the pipe on the way in.
Will do. And thanks for breakfast.
Iris offered me a cute wave as she left. The famous Brian Eno tone played, and it wasn't long before I was standing before our recently renovated dojo. The huntresses knew I would be here. I was pretty sure they got the notification. The huntresses knew I would be here. I was pretty sure they got a notification when I logged in. Yet no one was out to greet me. My guess was that Aya had stayed at the hotel in Kingdom Sana with Aunt Soba, and Lady C was probably asleep in her cabin, as she usually was at this time. Rather than go check, I made my way to the garden that was to the left of the Mythcria dormitory, where I found Rose and Baradillo rummaging through a bush. Rose the Baradillo. Rather than go My guess was that Aya had stayed at the hotel. Rather than go check, I made my way to the garden that was to the left of the Mythcria dormitory, where I found Rose the Baradillo rummaging through a bush with her cub, Gobi.
You have a smile on your face,
she thought to me. Life is looking up for me, I told her as I approached, placing my hand on her shoulder. Gobi burst out of another bush, looked to me, licked his lips, and dove back in. On her shoulder. Gobi burst out of on her shoulder. Gobi burst out of another bush, looked. Gobi burst out. Is there any reason? Again. Is there any reason? Fuck me, dude. I hate this. Again. Is there any reason why you two are ruining our new garden?
I told Gobi that there were certain beetles that come with these types of gardens that create a red paint if you mash them.
Gruesome, but sort of awesome.
I'm glad you approve.
Do you like what Iris has done with the place?
We still have our meadow and the hills beyond, so I have no qualms with it. I believe the others really like it, though, and Fujin has really been cooking up some nice things in the remodeled kitchen. You know, Sun Wukong and him work really well as a team.
Good to know.
Are you ready for the upcoming tournament?
Iris is going to do most of that, I told her as I took a seat at the bench. Gobi ran over to me, his muzzle red with squashed beetle guts.
You're not interested in winning?
To be honest with you, there's more to life than winning. As cheesy as that sounds.
No, I agree with you. But why the sudden change of heart?
You haven't heard? She looked at me fondly for a moment. Well, as fondly as a ginormous Baradillo can look at a human. She looked at me fondly for a moment. Well, as fondly as a ginormous Baradillo can look at a human.
I suppose I have.
Well, that's why. I just need to see how this plays out a bit. It has taken me by surprise. In every sense of the word. I petted Gobi's head, trying to avoid his sticky red muzzle. The Baradillo cub looked up at me with love in his eyes, and I couldn't help but smile down at him. All right, let's see here. looked to me, licked his lips, and dove. Licked his lips and dove back. Licked his lips. And dove back. And dove. Took a seat at the bench. Gobi ran over to me, his muzzle red with squashed beetle. Seat at the bench. Gobi ran over to me. Seat at the bench. Seat at the bench. Gobi ran over. Seat at the bench. Gobi ran. Seat at the bench. Gobi ran over to me. Seat at the bench. Gobi ran over to me, his muzzle. Took a seat at the bench. Gobi ran over to. As fondly as a giant, in every sense, head, trying to avoid his sticky red muzzle. I petted Gobi's head. Of the word, I petted. Of the word, I petted Gobi's head, trying to avoid his sticky red muzzle. The Baradillo cub looked up at me with love in his eyes, and I couldn't help but smile down at him.
Enjoy the surprise, then. Why fight it?
Good point. I turned toward the front gate, waving goodbye to both of them. I turned to the front gate, waving goodbye to both of them. I could see Yaksha in the distance, the giant statue meditating, and for a moment, part of me wanted to join him. I wasn't much of a meditator, and sitting still usually just quieted my mind enough for me to think about music. But he looked peaceful out there, and maybe another day, maybe I would join him. "Mitchell! Schnoogles!" I called out as I approached the front. Mitchell the troll came running over. Mitchell the troll came running over. Schnoogles not so much. The second troll was in the watchtower with a golden monocular in his hands. He turned the monocular to me, and I could see an enlarged version of his eye, like something straight up out of a cartoon. "Just stay up there," I called to Schnoogles, who blinked and looked away. Approached the front. Mitchell the troll came running over. Schnoogles not so much. The second troll was in the watchtower with a... Mitchell lifted his hand curiously, as if to ponder if he should sniff his ball-scratching hand in front of me. Figuring he was just with the boys, the troll gave it a good whiff. Mitchell lifted his hand curiously, as if to ponder if he should sniff his ball-scratching hand in front of me. Figuring he was just with the boys, the troll gave it a good whiff. Well, I hope you are clean, I told him. I invited him into the dormitory.
I bathe every couple of days. Thank you very much,
he said. He followed me in. We're going to do a little experiment, I told him. Then we headed down to the basement. Mitchell and I entered the Fusion Center, the space now. Mitchell and I entered the Fusion Center, the space now Bauhaus chic, a single table in the center of the room in front of a pair of vertical vats covered in blinking blue lights. Mitchell and I entered the Fusion Center. I saw the trackball of the table, and I remembered how to use it from last time, how to scroll through the list of Mythgria who we... I saw the trackball of the table, and I remembered how to use it from last time, how to scroll through the list of Mythgria we had captured and put in a few I saw the trackball of the table, and I remembered how to use it from last time, how to scroll through the list of Mythgria we had captured and put in a few commands. But that wasn't what I was here for.
This place is creepy. This place is creepy.
Mitchell commented. Mitchell the troll commented, "That's just because there's no furniture. We'll add some furniture, how's that?" We'll add some furniture, how's that? I scrolled through a few menus and added a couch against the wall. It didn't really go with the decor of this place, but Mitchell seemed to like it. He waddled over to the chair and hopped onto it, kicking his dirty feet up. He waddled over to the chair and hopped onto it, kicking his dirty feet up. Couch against the wall. Good, I told him, as I went through some of the menus available on my dashboard. It was interesting how it was arranged, but eventually I was able to locate exactly what I was looking for. I purchased the cloning machine for well over 50,000 Proxima dollars. It came with the requirement of a place to hold the clones, and after being given a 3-dimensional grid of our land, I selected a far-off corner, hoping that it wouldn't obstruct any views. Once that was done, a series of levers appeared next to the trackball on the main table in the Fusion Center, an additional vat taking shape between the two with blinking blue lights. This one had a metal coil around it. I purchased the cloning machine for well over 50,000 Proxima dollars. All right, let's get some... With the requirement of a place to hold the clones, and after being given a 3-dimensional grid of outline that it wouldn't obstruct any... Once that was done, a series of levers appeared next to the trackball on the main table in the Fusion Center, an additional vat taking shape between the two with blinking blue lights. This one... Tutorials presented themselves to me through pop-up boxes, a female voice reading them. First, select the Mythgria you would like to clone, and please note, cloning Mythgria will not give you any bonus tokens. I did as instructed, using the trackball to scroll to Mitchell.
What's going on?
I did as instructed, using the track... Mitchell asked as an invisible force lifted him and carried him over to the vertical vat that had appeared in front of me. Now use the trackball to select how many clones you would like to create. Once you have selected a number, the cloning process will begin. A single replica will be created and then deposited in the clone pen you have installed in your dojo. You will need to check this replica for any defects, and once you have done so, you can continue your cloning in the pen. You will find that the clone pen has information along the wall that you can use to make changes or approve of the next batch of clones. As previously stated, cloning Mythria will not give you any bonus tokens. Have fun, and don't get too carried away. Here goes nothing, I said. Mitchell was placed inside the vertical vat. The door sealed shut, a hissing sound escaping as the troll looked at me with panic in his eyes.
Whoa! Whoa! This is crazy!
I know it seems crazy, I know it seems crazy, but just relax. We're just going to make some more of you.
More of me?
His breath was hot against the glass from inside the vat. Yep, as many as we possibly can. And you're going to be leader of all of the U's, and you will lead them in the battle.
Against who?
Against William, the guy who attacked us the other day.
This is about him?
He glared at me.
Why didn't you friggin' tell me? I would have gotten in here without being forcibly lifted by an invisible force.
Sorry, should have clarified. Ready? He gave me the thumbs up. This one's for you, Iris, I thought, as I pulled on the lever and smoke appeared in the vat. She would have definitely gotten a kick out of this. Iris, I thought, as I pulled on the lever and smoke appeared in the vat. She would have definitely gotten a All right. The drainage is finally letting up. I logged out, glad to see that the Mitchell cloning operation was going to go according to plan. I could check back on the clones later, having approved the first one. Lady C, if she was indeed at the dojo, never made it out of her cabin in time to see me off. But she would be stoked, or at least a little nervous, when she saw where I was going next. Once the NV visor powered down, I noticed an incoming message from Keegan, the young female alpha challenging me to a brawl. I jokingly shot a message back to her, telling her to bring her biggest guns possible, which sort of came off weird, especially after my message was flagged by Google Face, and I had to wait a few minutes for Keegan to finish her side of the report telling Google Face that I wasn't threatening her with a firearm. But eventually I got a response. Meet me in Central Park in 30 minutes. Bitch. Easy enough, bitch, I said, as I slipped my Vans on, officially welcoming the Huntresses to New York City. The two appeared at the same time, both in their battle gear. Aya's armor was now black, dragon skulls fashioned onto her shoulder pad. She wore her hat as usual, her hair braided into a side ponytail and tucked under it. Lady C was in her Matikan warrior getup, armor covering her chest and a metallic skirt. At least it kind of looked metallic. I reached out and touched it, and Lady C playfully slapped my hand away.
Watch it, Chase. Ace. Ace.
When did you guys get new armor?
We went shopping. You were supposed to go shopping with us.
Aya took an intimidating step toward me.
But you were too busy playing with trolls. At least, that's what a little birdie told me.
I see. Well, congrats. You got really nice-looking armor.
My eyes are up here, Chase.
I was checking out your armor.
Please, just admit it. You have a thing for green flesh. I understand. Many people in Tritania consider Thulians to be incredibly beautiful, and there are many... How should I say this? Fetishes. I think your skin is great. Its color, too. You could moisturize more, though, Lady Aya, but that's just me being critical, so please don't take it the wrong way. Do you see the nonsense I deal with on a daily basis? Do you see the nonsense I deal with on a daily basis? Anyway, you have called us here, interrupting our shopping, so this better be for a good reason.
We got invited to a brawl in Central Park.
Again? Isn't there another park we can fight in?
There are plenty of parks in New York, but it's the largest and there's more space to kind of get away from the crowds.
And who will our opponent be?
Keegan, the girl we fought before.
The little woman is a sadist.
Aya unsheathed her giant blade and looked at it for a moment, making sure. Aya unsheathed her giant blade and looking at it for a moment. Aya unsheathed her giant blade and looked at it for a moment, making sure... Well, I don't really know what she was trying to do. Well, I don't really know what she was trying to do. I was by no means a sword expert. Maybe an axe expert, but only since that word sometimes meant a type of guitar, not the actual weapon. I can't remember what hunters Keegan has. Anyone remember?
A Cyclops and a Fairy, both level 5. What kind of brawl is it anyway? Just hunters, or is he bringing Mythcria into the mix?
I checked the message again, noticing that I'd skipped a detail. 1 Mythcria, so 3 on 3.
You have an impeccable memory, You have an impeccable memory, Lady Cassandra. Not a great taste in men, but a good brain.
Aya turned to the door after she had sheathed her blade.
And by the way, this hotel room. First time I'm seeing it. But by the looks of it, it seems like someone knows how to waste money.
I'm splurging just a little. I never get to do things like this.
Fair enough. Will you open the door? Or should I walk through it?
Right, let's go. I stepped around her, Aya playfully chomping her teeth in my direction. Around her, Aya playfully chomping her teeth in my direction. What? Careful with those things. What? Careful with those things. I opened the door. I opened the door and stepped aside like a gentleman, letting the two walk in front of me.
I don't trust you behind us. I don't trust you behind us.
I looked over her shoulder.
Front and center. He won't watch us walk. Chase is a gentleman. Ha! Now there's something you don't hear every day.
Aya stopped in front of the elevator. Rather than taking it down to the ground floor, we took it up to the rooftop, where there was a black Uber lift, the doors opening as soon as we approached the arrows. The doors opening as soon as we approached the arrows. It was a gray day out, the rising sun from earlier tucked behind a fluffy cloud signaling rain would come soon. I got in, Aya sitting next to me and Lady C sitting next to her.
No big vehicle this time? I thought you were splurging. Maybe you will be better with your money than I originally thought.
Welcome, Chase Knowles. Please confirm that you would like to go to Central Park. That's right. Once your seatbelt is fastened, the vehicle will begin its ascent. I snapped the belt buckle shut and wrapped my hand around the oh shit bar as the vehicle lifted. I was used to this feeling, but every now and then it took me by surprise. And I wasn't used to rising off a building this tall, so it took just a second or two to get my bearings. I gotta check on something. And Lady C sitting next to her.
No big vehicle this time? I thought you were...
The door is opening as soon as we approached the arrows. Aya stopped in front of the elevator. Rather than taking it down to the ground floor, we took it up to the rooftop, where there was a black Uber lift. The doors It was a gray day out next to her.
No big vehicle this time?
Ace Knowles? Signaling rain would come soon. I got in. Once your seat... I snapped the belt buckle shut and... or two to get my bearings. There we go. Fixed all that up.
So many people. So many people.
I was looking out the window.
Who would want to live in a city this big? There must be other places in your world that are nicer than this.
Actually, an idea came to me. Yes, that would be a great thing to do. Something fun. Different. We will see other places in the future. I promise.
Pinky promise?
She lifted her green finger at me. Of course. I locked fingers with her, or at least it looked like I was doing that. I knew that if I deactivated the Monster Hunt app, I would simply be doing this in the air, as if I were communicating with a ghost. And I was sure there was a camera watching me now, all these vehicles chock full of surveillance equipment. It probably looked a little strange, but I was sure the people or human droids that reviewed these feeds were used to it.
And what are we doing after we beat this Keegan girl? Such confidence, Lady Cassandra. I like it. It suits you so well. Thanks, Lady Aya.
We don't know if we will beat her yet. We shouldn't get cocky now. I'm guessing if she's trying to meet up with us, she probably has a pretty killer attack plan. She doesn't seem like the type that wants to lose.
Does anybody want to lose?
It was weird to see Aya sitting in the vehicle, especially with the fact... It was weird to see Aya sitting in the vehicle, especially with the fact that the bottom portion of her sword was half submerged in the back seat. A definite glitch. I guess you're right. And as I continued talking with them, I again thought of what the video feed would look like. A man with dark hair and glasses talking like there were two people in the backseat with him. But to answer your question... I said, after giving them my little spiel about staying humble, I have plans for after. For you and me, I told Lady C. A pained expression took shape on Aya's face.
What? I can't come.
Not this time, Aya. But don't be offended or anything. We will be meeting up later.
I'm so excited. Like I want to come with you too anyway.
Aya crossed her arms over her chest.
Whatever. Let's take our time with this Keegan girl, Lady Cassandra. I feel like hacking away at something.
These chapters are huge, man. I'd always wondered what it would be like to live around Central Park, and ever since I was a child, the old buildings that framed the large swath of green had always caught my eye. They didn't make buildings like this anymore. Modern buildings were made of glass and steel, shaped in unnatural ways. Beautiful, sure, but there was something eternally hollow about them. We circled around the Metropolitan Museum of Art on our way toward the Alexander Hamilton Monument, which was host to a live performance of Hamilton last summer, and every summer since I was born. Once we rounded the statue, I caught sight of Keegan, her hands in the front hoodie. Once we rounded the statue, I caught sight of Keegan, her hands in the front pocket of her hoodie. As I approached my opponent, her 2 level 5 hunters took shape, a Cyclops and a Fairy, just as Lady C had remembered. The Cyclops wore armor that made him look twice as bulky and buff as he normally would have been. The Fairy seemed a little larger than last time I saw her hair in 2 pigtails, pixie dust glittering in the air all around her. The Cyclops wore armor. The statue, I caught sight of Keegan, her hands in the front pocket of her hoodie. Keegan?
Chase?
Said the girl. The girl was definitely under 14.
How would you like us to beat the little girl this time?
The Fairy hissed.
The only one who's going to be beaten today will be...
She looked around, realizing she didn't really have a very good comeback.
You! Oh, please.
Aya rolled her eyes.
You will be the first one I take down, like a little buzzing ant. No, make that the second. I'll kill the one-eyed bedwetter first.
Take it easy.
Chase, you're doing a terrible job at intimidating our opponents. Sometimes the best form of intimidation is through action,
Lady C said in her cheerful voice as she drew both her swords. Lady C said in her cheerful voice as she drew both her swords, crossing them over one another and striking a sick pose.
Ew, I'm so scared,
the Fairy said, doing a swirl in the air.
Fuck Matikans and fuck you, Nagaya! Listen, Stinkerbell. Once Lady Cassandra here kills you, I will feed your body to our goblin. And don't you say shit about Unagaya. That world is better than any shithole you've ever visited, you twinkling little twat. What the hell did you just call me?
Sorry about them. I started to tell the young girl, who was now giving me a dirty look. Shouldn't you, be in school or something?
Why do you always ask me if I should be in school?
Her ass.
Why do you always ask me if I should be in school?
she asked. Her voice grew shrill. I don't know. I don't really know what else to ask someone your age.
I have thoughts and a personality. I'm also a hunter of rare mythcria, which is how I caught this.
Whether I wanted it to or not, the battle began as soon as a large dragon landed on the swath of earth not far from the statue. It was clear Keegan had already scouted out the area, choosing a spot with little or no tree coverage, as the dragon was ginormous, easily the size of a city bus.
Chase, now it's your turn to pick something. Choose wisely. That's a big dragon.
My list of combat mythcria appeared before me, and I scrolled through them. Rose, Altsoba, Fujin, Spew Gorge, Ophelia, Magnus, Sun Wukong, Rambi, Brigantia. I settled on Rambi, the mythological rhino that was originally known as a Karkadan because of his size. The beast took shape, snorting, veins bulging along his neck as he stomped his feet, kicking up dust. Even though there was no dust. And this is an action scene, so that's what I write in here. Action scene. So that means Ahmed is just gonna say, "Oh, okay," and listen to the whole thing and make sound effects as needed. Sometimes I had to remember that this was all fake, that none of this was actually happening. Keegan and I were simply standing there, staring out at an empty void.
Here we go!
Aya hopped onto Rambi's back, taking off toward the dragon with her sword drawn and screaming in Thulian.
Ay, ay, ay!
Lady C launched into action as well, pulling her blades back, lightning striking her swords as she smacked them together, the bolt of electricity instantly taking out the fairy.
Brutus, kill her!
Keegan shouted to the Cyclops. I leapt out of the way just as Lady C and the Cyclops met, the Cyclops trying to beat her down with his big club. The Matican first caught this attack with both blades, then stepped aside, bringing her right foot up and kicking him in the side of his knee, the Cyclops spilling over while Lady C pivoted, trying to swipe her blade across his back. The Cyclops rolled out of the way just in time, pressed up to his feet, shook his head out, blinked, and charged her again. This time his boots leaving indents in the gravel. I glanced to Keegan to see her nodding excitedly. This was apparently some type of special move, and as I continued backing up, I noticed a wave of force start to pool behind the Cyclops' shoulders as he charged forward. Suddenly, he was gone, Lady C bristling, looking around quickly, her hair whipping as she turned, only to be slammed in the back by the Cyclops. He took her to the ground, bashing his club against the back of her head. "Fuck!" I whispered, punching my hand to my open fist. "Fuck!" I whispered. "Fuck!" I whispered, punching my hand to my open fist. What? Punching my fist into my open hand. Punching my fist into my open hand. The Cyclops looked up at me and licked his lips as he stood, The Cyclops looked up at me and licked his lips. The Cyclops looked up at me and licked his lips as The Cyclops looked up at me and licked his lips as he stood. Lady C's lifeless body lying on the ground. He kicked her once to make sure she was dead, then turned to the main fight. He kicked her once to make...
Looks like we are even,
Keegan said, as she stepped to my side, both of us watching the Cyclops charge over toward Aya and the dragon. Ramby had already tried to skewer the dragon, only to fail once the dragon swiped at the mythological beast, forcing... Ramby had already tried to skewer the dragon, only to fail once the dragon swiped at the Ramby had already tried to skewer the dragon, only to fail once the dragon swiped at the mythological beast, forcing Aya to jump off, run by his side for a moment, and hop back on. They circled around, trying to get a better location to attack when the Cyclops entered the equation. As if it were her duty, which it sort of was, Aya immediately changed her attention from the dragon to the Cyclops, dismounting and charging at the one-eyed bastard with her sword overhead. While Lady C had speed, Aya had strength, and her first attack nearly brought the Cyclops to his knees. He managed to hold his club between both hands, preventing her from slicing him in half, but in doing so he also cut the hell out of his right hand, crying out in pain as he pushed her away. Aya was relentless, but she was also solely focused on killing the Cyclops, not at all aware that there was a barbed tail coming in her direction. The dragon's tail smacked Aya's aside. Nope. The dragon's tail smacked Aya aside. Nope. The dragon's tail smacked Aya's side, sending her barreling through the air. Aya hit the ground, rolling, her buster sword tossed off to the side. She stood, nursing one leg, wiping blood from her mouth as she drew 2 daggers. She gave the Cyclops a blood-stained grin as she lifted both weapons, charging in his direction. The dragon slammed his body into Ramby, sending the mythological creature backward, where he got in Aya. The dragon slammed his body into Ramby, sending the mythological creature backward, where he got in Aya and the Cyclops' trajectory. And rather than go around his opponent, the Cyclops simply brought his weapon back and clubbed Ramby in the face. The rhino stumbled for a moment, only to be lit aflame by the dragon, who had apparently been saving his fire attack for the right moment. Ramby was out for the count.
This is going really good,
Keegan said, a wicked smile on her face as she rubbed her hands together. You can do it! You can do it! Come on!
Quiet! You will draw attention. I can't believe I have to tell you that.
Yeah, I said, wanting to pace, but also trying to keep my cool. Wanting to pace? I don't know what that means. I looked around. Luckily, no one had heard me. Sorry. Seeing that both her teammates were down and that her weapon was off in a bush somewhere, Aya started to backpedal, luring the Cyclops away from the dragon. I had seen her fight enough times to know what she was thinking. She would kill the Cyclops and then go after the big guy, which made sense, if not for the fact that the Cyclops was starting to charge at her again, the same move he had pulled on Lady C. Aya! I started to call out, bringing my hand over my mouth as the Cyclops disappeared in a flash, reappeared behind her, and smacked the holy shit out of the Thulian with his club. Aya fell forward and tried to lift herself up, giving the Cyclops the perfect opportunity to finish the job.
I beat you,
Keegan said, still watching the fight, even though it was now over. Her dragon had started to disappear, and her Cyclops was already making his way back over to her, Aya flung over his shoulder, his hand planted squarely on her ass. That is a little much, I started to say, as Aya faded away. Keegan smirked.
Someone's a sore loser. You have beaten me twice. Now it's my turn.
I guess I had it coming.
Sure, if you say so.
You know, we never made a wager at the beginning of the brawl. Was that something that you were Was that something you were intending to do?
No, I was just looking to beat you.
Brutal little, Aya started to say, freshly respawning behind me. Lady C was there as well, but she hadn't said anything yet.
Don't make us beat you again.
You are pretty crazy for a 14-year-old.
I'm 16.
Really? Because I thought you were 14.
Why does everyone think I'm so young?
She ran her hand through her short hair, which had multicolored streaks in it. Her hunters were now behind her, Mad Dog and Aya and Lady C.
Anyway, I have to go to school.
Wait, I thought you said school was out.
What are you, some type of stalker? Next time I want to brawl, I will let you know.
And with that, she turned away, only looking back once she reached the main thoroughfare. I received an iNet message from her almost instantly. Kiki.
Hey, I'm part of a rare monster club, by the way. I'm part of a rare monster club, BT Dubs. Thought you should know.
Me. What? Kiki.
We get together and talk about rare monsters and where to find them. You should come. I'll message you the address.
Me. Thanks, Kiki.
You're welcome. Bye.
Keegan flashed me a peace sign, and I'd started flashing it back to her when she dropped a finger and flipped the bird at me instead.
Next time, we kill her. I'm serious. Let's challenge her in the Proxima Galaxy so we can do this correctly. Such a cheap move, this running Cyclops. He killed you in the same way he killed me. This is not up for discussion, Lady Cassandra.
Aya turned away, her arms crossed over her chest. It's fine. She's just a little rough around the edges. She also told me about a rare monster club or something. So there's that. Maybe she's not so bad after all.
Whatever, Chase. There is a word for people like you and Thulian, but I don't know how to translate it.
Duly noted.
Whatever. I hate losing. What now?
Lady C asked, as she cozied up next to me. I smiled at her. I'm glad you asked. Now, you and I see about a little something different. All right. And that will be it for today, guys. Thank you so much for coming and hanging out. Let's see, where are we? We're at 30% of the book. So that's it for the cold reads for Monster Hunt NYC 3. Really appreciate you guys hanging out. Check out the description of the YouTube video to find links to purchase the first and second books, to purchase the Kindle version of this book if you're already caught up and you just can't wait to read what happens next. Watch out next Tuesday for these cold reads to be published on our website so that you can download them and listen to them on the app without having to stream through YouTube. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks so much. Tomorrow, no, not tomorrow, let's see. Yeah, tomorrow we're releasing a short story for free. That's from the Portal Books Side Quests short story anthology that we've been doing. So watch out for that. It's narrated by Emma Kate Starling and written, I think this one is written by Oliver Mays? No. That was the first one. I can't remember who this one was by. You should check it out. Tomorrow, just watch for our newsletter. If you haven't signed up to our newsletter, go to soundbooththeater.com and do that so that you know whenever we put something out. We're putting out one thing at least every week on our platform. So just keep an eye on that stuff. And subscribe to the YouTube channel if you want to see more cold reads. And next week, I'm starting the Everybody Loves Large Chests 8 cold read. That's hopefully Tuesday. I'm going to narrate a little bit more. Well, no, not this. I have a little bit more work to do on other stuff today, but I'll be in Discord a little bit later. And yeah, so just, stay up to date with us. Watch out for that Everybody Loves Large Chests 8 cold read. And that'll be it for today. Thanks one more time for coming to hang out, and I will see you hopefully next week.